It's over 9,000!
Welcome, Super Elite Warriors, to Final Forum, a podcast for the discussion of all things Dragon Ball. I am your host, Jelli, an elite recruiting member of the Frieza Force, on a mission to find the best warriors from across the galaxy to join the greatest army of all time, and now I'm joined, as always, by my new recruit co-host.
This is the Bekinney.
And on our way to the power reading, we've stumbled across something interesting.
You think this is interesting? It's just a flat white wall.
But it's what we can do with the flat white wall that's interesting.
Alright, what terrible thing are you about to do?
Me? Nothing. Well...
What?
Well, I didn't create this thing, so if it's terrible, it's not really my fault.
What are you talking about?
We have a flat white wall, we have the projection ability of our scouters, and we have to waste a little bit of time before getting into our next adventure, so we're doing a super secret movie commentary.
If this is some kind of snuff film or stag reel, I'm going to be very upset.
After we get through with this, you might just wish it had been those things instead. Today, we're taking a look at the movie Dragon Ball Fight Son Goku, Win Son Goku. We are watching, there's multiple versions of this movie, so that everyone knows, that are floating around throughout the waves of the internet. We are watching the one, if you Google the term Dragon Ball Fight Son Goku, Win Son Goku, we're watching it's like one of the first results that pops up on Internet Archive. That's the version we're watching. There's versions of this on YouTube. There's a recent version of this movie that, like, someone... I don't want to get too deep into it because it's almost like in my notes, but basically someone found a half of a VHS.
Oh, God.
And they uploaded like 50 minutes of this with new subtitles that like they did themselves as a more like native Korean speaker. So there's all kinds of versions of this movie. We're watching the one that's on Internet Archive. Also, we're trying something very new this time with a movie commentary. Usually, when we do commentaries, we both come in pretty well prepped. We both have watched the movie beforehand, and we have a whole bunch of notes. We talk through the movie. We talk about what's happening on the screen sometimes. We're not super screen specific, but we've both prepared for it.
Yeah, not so much this time around. I was asked to come into this completely blind. I didn't know the title. I didn't know anything about it till just now.
Yeah, Bekinney found out the title 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, like right before we started.
There's a reason for that madness, kind of, in that this is a really difficult movie to find notes on because this is a bootleg movie. It's unofficial. So what this is going to be is I'm prepared, I have notes, and we're also going to be just getting Bekinney's like live reaction.
Which I guess is going to be comical, or at least I hope.
I think this is one of humanity's most crowning achievements, personally.
Oh, God. You keep saying that. You keep saying that, and I feel like it's not true.
Hopefully you've had time, if you're wanting to watch along with us at home, to head on over to Internet Archive, pull this up. We are paused just at 0 seconds, black screen nothingness. We're going to say 3, 2, 1, go. On go. You're going to hit play. We're all going to hit play. And we're going to be off and running. And it's going to be something. So
if you say so.
If everyone's got their hand over their space bar or whatnot, I will count us in and we can get going.
Let's do it.
In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we get the logo with a dragon, and who knows what it says. And
already the production quality is so high.
We're off and running. So, Dragon Ball, fight Son Goku, win Son Goku, or in Korean, please forgive me if I say this wrong, Dragon Ball Suara Son Goku Igiora Son Goku is a 1990 Korean live-action adaptation of Dragon Ball directed by Ryan Wong.
It's live action?
Oh, you didn't even know that?
No, I didn't know anything about this movie. Oh, okay.
Wait. It is an unlicensed, unofficial movie that, unlike another unlicensed adaptation that we'll be talking about in the relatively near future, has never been officially released anywhere. We'll talk about... Look at this wig, by the way.
His hair game is on point. That is amazing.
Okay, my question is, as we watch this movie, do you think that's a wig? Or do you think they, did this poor kid's hair this way?
I think they did that to his hair. I don't think that's a wig.
Look at how stunningly accurate this is to the opening of the manga, though. If you're not following along with us, it's got Goku is walking along on the log that from the opening of the manga. It's a giant log. He's going to throw it up in the air. He's going to chop it into wood using his kung fu. It's incredible.
Honestly, I respect the sticking to the source material as well.
It does that throughout. So we're going to talk about that other film some other time, but while that other movie has been put on Amazon Prime and Tubi at various points, Fight Son Goku, Win Son Goku is only available on YouTube and Internet Archive. It's not difficult to find, honestly, but it just seems to have been buried a bit more than the other one for what may or may not, over the next 105 minutes, wind up becoming obvious reasons. The most obvious reason is that it's an unofficial bootleg, and like various Italian ripoffs or Turksploitation movies, it just managed to seep into public conscious. Look at that flipping.
Dude, these special effects are next level.
There's the wire work in this. It's like so charmingly bad.
Yeah.
But it's more that it's just oh my god, the fish just jumps at his
just screamed a fish out of the water. Dude, what is this?
It's not so much that it's bad. You can tell there's a lot of skill going into making this, with the wire work and stuff. It's that it's just it's poorly shot as a movie.
Yeah, no, that's definitely what I'm picking up. There was some serious care put into this with the way that they're sticking to the source material. I think it's pretty clear that the people that made this are fans of the source material. But like you said, it's they're it's only 90% of the way there, and it's that missing 10% that's really giving it a lot of charm.
Yes. So yeah, it seeped into public consciousness enough to get found and subtitled and uploaded to the internet for our viewing, let's say, pleasure. The only technically legal way to see the movie is to buy a used copy of a VHS that's been floating around, and let's just say for the sake of our lawyers that we were in fact able to find a copy of that on eBay. And that it's not literally impossible, and we've not downloaded a rip from the internet. That wouldn't be the way we'd go about this at all. It's not.
No, absolutely not.
It's not like there's literally only one tape of this that has ever sold on eBay for $400 and we can't afford that.
Point blank shooting him.
Does this kid have something crammed up his nostrils?
I was wondering the same thing, actually.
It's difficult to I don't. It looks like he's got something crammed up his nostrils. I don't know. Is it to make them appear more cartoonish? Is it? I'm not sure. Is it I'm wondering if it was because she was just firing a gun at him with like these explosive charges in it. Was it something for like filtering out
It almost looks like
dirt?
it almost looks like they took like dark makeup or paint and put it in his nose.
Yeah, it's real. I don't know why.
I have no idea either. Maybe we have a listener that's done movie makeup and they can explain it.
It may be. If you're watching this and you understand what's going on with this kid's nose, and that is not to pick on the kid at all. I just don't know why they chose to do what they did with his nose. So backing up a little bit, let's. Ooh, she's grabbing his tail. Let's talk a little bit, and we'll just keep interrupting. And like I said, this is just how this one is going to go. We're going to react to what's happening on the screen quite often. Backing up, we'll talk about Turksploitation and Italian ripoffs, and even more modern-day mockbusters from the studios such as the Asylum. In fact, we'll start with the Asylum for now. This is to give some context to both this movie and forthcoming discussions. This is meant to help everyone understand what this movie really is, and also pad out this commentary, as it's really hard to find information on this movie. The Asylum is most well known to people for their Sharknado series, but their roots go back a lot further. They initially were a distribution company that would release movies from like B-list directors in an attempt to get some profits off the names of these people. Most notably Stuart Gordon, who I think like horror fans for sure would know as the director of the Reanimator films.
Mm-hmm.
He directed a movie in 2003 called King of the Ants, and the Asylum released that. That was like one of their first, I think, like 5 titles. Soon thereafter, the Asylum pivoted into doing mostly in-house mockbusters with movies named H.G. Wells's War of the Worlds to capitalize on the Spielberg remake, King of the Lost World to cash in on the Kong movie from 2005 by Peter Jackson, The Da Vinci Treasure, Snakes on a Train, Transmorphers, and a whole slew more. Their movies almost all have a budget of about $250,000 to $500,000. They grab a few named B, C, or D-list celebrities, and historically they've plopped them onto Sci-Fi Channel for premieres. And with all the money from TV and video sales, they'd wind up making about $200,000 to $250,000 profit on like every movie. And they maintained like a 15 to 20% profit margin in general. And in the movie now, Bulma is telling Goku about the Dragon Ball, and we're getting some animation of the dragon.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think this is literally lifted from the show.
It's not terrible. Look at these chopsticks, by the way.
What?
His chopsticks are like half as long as his entire body that he's trying to use to eat the fish he caught with earlier. And there's like, what I love about some of the crazy stuff in this movie is no one points that out at all. Like it's not a joke. Or it is, but just like
I'm not sure what the purpose of this is.
Nobody said like, "Oh, look at those giant chopsticks." It was just a thing that just happened. So the Asylum makes like 20% profit margin on like every movie they make. They make their movies in a matter of a few weeks or at most a couple of months. They operate outside of SAG-AFTRA, and therefore they have long days of shooting and lax rules around, well, kind of like everything from safety and hours and overtime and all that stuff.
Listen, these people they're entrepreneurs. They're trying to eke out a living here. How dare you try to lash them down with government regulation?
The Asylum has made some bangers over the years. I think I have it in my notes later. If you're a fan of these like crappy movies, you owe it to yourself to watch Air Collision. It is one of the best bad movies. It's incredible. The idea, that's like most people's idea of what exploitation cinema is, especially in terms of mockbusters. Everyone kind of thinks of like Sharknado, Five-Headed Shark Attack, all the sci-fi movies. If you've had Sci-Fi Channel and you've ever been scrolling through and you've seen the title like Three-Headed Shark Attack, Five-Headed Shark Attack, Atomic Shark, Sharknado. What are some of the other ones that Lava Lantula? and thought to yourself, hey, that seems like it's fun, but I know if I watch it, it'll probably just be boring. By the way, he is confused about Bulma's name. And he's not confused about whether it's Bulma or Bloomers. He's confused about whether it's Bulma or Vulva.
Oh. They doubled down on the sexist jokes. I love it. It's great.
What's crazy is as you watch this movie, there's like more mentions of like wearing bikinis and things like that, but almost all of the moments and opportunities to show.
I'm pretty sure that was a handheld video game that they just like tried to pass off as a Dragon Radar.
But almost all the like opportunities to show like skin in this are one-piece suits, or even you could tell the woman is wearing like nylon or something underneath. I think like Korea might have, or at least maybe in the late 80s or early 90s, have had like a more maybe rules or something around like women.
I was going to say, yeah, there's probably like some sort of censorship or decency laws or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is like you got the hoi poi capsule. She popped out a motorcycle. It doesn't look like any motorcycle.
It's the raddest motorcycle ever. What are you talking about?
It just doesn't look like any motorcycle you'd actually see anywhere. These poor people are just driving it along the dirt. Like, oh, this dude is creeping out from behind the rocks. This is the stand-in for the pteranodon who tries to eat Bulma. Okay.
Honestly, like not a bad change. Like if you don't have the budget to do like a big monster, like just doing like a Sentai villain is acceptable, I think.
It's gonna blow your mind later, some of the choices they make when it comes to like, why is that guy a monster when they did this thing instead?
I'm still looking at the motor. What is all over this? Like, what is this that I'm looking at?
Like what? Like they just found every. They just found every shiny chrome thing they could and glued it to all over the motorcycle.
Yes, exactly. Those close shots, it just looks like it's been wrapped in tinfoil.
So Italian cinema produced a whole slew of ripoffs and unofficial sequels over many, many decades. And because these movies were generally directly distributed around Europe, they wound up becoming notorious thanks to the UK's policy of heavy censorship in the 1980s that wound up labeling a lot of these movies as video nasties and making them more well-known than they might otherwise have been, thanks to being deemed taboo and literally illegal. You could be prosecuted for owning a video nasty and definitely for selling them, and when well-known movies like The Exorcist wound up on the lists of video nasties due to technicalities, a sort of mythology like swirled around these movies that if they were all as intense or crazy or good as The Exorcist, then there must be some great cinema that's being unseen by Brits, except on the black market. One of the most famous video nasties, and it's actually a good one too, is Lucio Fulci's Zombie 2, which is an unofficial sequel to Romero's Dawn of the Dead, which was released in Italy as Zombie, despite itself being a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. So, by the way, are you paying attention to how his power pole is like super floppy?
It looks like a pool noodle.
I was just like.
That said, what you said about the wire work, yes, that's actually legitimately impressive, and I actually do like a lot of the choreography in this fight scene.
Yeah, they just got a little confused. They thought it was the pool noodle pole instead of the power pole.
You know, it's fine.
Even outside the video nasties, though, certain Italian movies. Oh, by the way, here's Lord Pilaf.
Oh my! Wait, is that a Saiyan behind him?
Yes, except do you know who that is character-wise? Like in this movie,
who?
Murasaki.
What? But okay, I take back what I said about them holding to the source material.
But it's weird. I don't know who the other dude is, who's like a robot with Goku's weird black undernose.
Yeah,
but wild, right? Like they chose to give this guy big pointy ears, but not paint his skin blue.
Yeah, this is starting to approach like weird fever dream.
Oh
status.
yeah, it gets crazier by a lot. And we're what? We're probably like 12 minutes into this thing.
Almost exactly. Alrighty, buckle it in.
But certain Italian movies, even outside of these video nasties, like Shocking Dark, which was also known as Terminator 2 because it was released in the lead up to the real Terminator 2, despite being a ripoff of Aliens, gained notoriety as well. And Italian cinema had no qualms about naming movies things just to get money, a tradition that continues on into the Asylum. With, I know like they have Transmorphers, Atlantic Rim, I'm trying to think of like what other ones they had, like Monster Island when one of the Godzilla movies came out recently. Oh, they have Ape versus Mecha Ape. By the way, Dragon Ball is didactic to Dragon Ball fight Son Goku, win Son Goku. Did you see that? He's watching
on TV. Yeah, he's watching himself on TV.
He's watching Dragon Ball and he's like, "Ooh, that guy looks awesome."
It's a very famous old series. So this is like a multiverse situation then.
Oh,
it's like parallel universe Goku.
Oh, this is Trunks' timeline.
Oh no. Maybe that's the guy that you didn't know who he was. Maybe he's one of the androids. I just liked a random computer in the middle of her entertainment system.
Yeah. I like how there's like streamers and balloons.
Like they're going to have a party.
But like, they just, it's like the set decoration here is like they just told someone, hey, decorate this like a 16-year-old girl's like house.
Not enough unicorns in my opinion.
And this is what they came up with?
Well, I mean, we're not Korean. We're not from that era. Who knows? Maybe this was how Korean girls were decorating their rooms. With
just balloons and yeah, now we're getting to where like this is I mean, did you notice the little spot they have just to make sure you don't see we're at the part where Bulma is bathing Goku and they like there's a little spot that appears and it appears in the wrong spot at first and they have to like swoop it up.
Does he have chest hair?
Yes. And now he's looking at her front butt, which is her boobs.
She has an ass in her chest.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Like this is like it's wild how weirdly faithful this is.
Yeah.
And now we've got him staring at her bathing,
which is just weird in itself.
Yes. And
like why did she not make him get out?
I don't know. Well, she thinks he's like a small child.
Even though he's almost as big as she is.
Yeah. And then she says, "You're only 2 years younger than me." This actress has got to be in her 20s at least, though.
Yeah, she does not look 16.
Like, this kid looks 14. I could buy that.
Yeah, especially with the fake chest hair.
So yeah, so there's this tradition of naming movies things just to get money. German cinema did a lot of this throughout the 1960s. Godzilla films released in Germany. I got to get my Godzilla reference in, of course. Released in Germany would often have some sort of title involving Frankenstein, and German dubs would often say that one kaiju or another was some sort of creation either by Dr. Frankenstein or caused by some sort of offshoot of the Frankenstein's monster. Frankenstein was really popular in Germany in the 1960s, thanks in part to the success of the Toho movie Frankenstein Conquers the World. In that movie, the giant Frankenstein monster is created by the still beating heart of Frankenstein's monster being irradiated during Hiroshima, And the subplot, there's a subplot of the movie that has to do with the possibility that detached limbs from the monster could regrow new monsters. And here in our movie, by the way, we're seeing Turtle.
Now here's an amalgamated monster of different parts.
And this is one of those things where they went through all the trouble to make this really detailed turtle costume. But then when it came time to make the pterodactyl guy, they just put some wings on a dude.
My guess for that is that, speaking from a budget perspective, I'm going to guess they're going to get more mileage out of this turtle costume than they would the pterodactyl one.
True. That is true. So shortly after Frankenstein Conquers the World, Toho released War of the Gargantuas, a movie that was originally envisioned as a sequel to Frankenstein Conquers the World, and it retained a hint of that regrowing limbs plotline. And that was also popular. So thus, in Germany, Ghidra, the three-headed monster, became Frankenstein's monster versus Ghidorah. Ebra, Horror of the Deep, became Frankenstein and the Monsters from the Sea. Son of Godzilla became Frankenstein's Monsters, hunts Godzilla's son, and so on, all through the 1970s. And then, as Dino De Laurentiis' Kong movie was on the horizon in 1976, the two Mechagodzilla movies were given the names including King Kong in the title. And then additionally, the rise of meme culture brought the realm of Turksploitation into the internet community for a while, with movies like Turkish Spider-Man and Turkish Star Wars becoming a hot show out of context clip for the lulz kind of movies. I feel like I knew of those movies before I got into this stuff. I had seen weird clips from Turkish Star Wars.
This is quite the morning workout.
Yeah, and it's So yeah, it's crazy. He's going to pick up the boulder. It's very obviously just a styrofoam boulder.
Yeah.
But so this history of ripoffs becoming cult hits and movies getting cash-in titles was not just limited to Europe either. So obviously, that's where this movie comes in. He throws the boulder up in the air, punches it, and then it explodes in a shower of sparks.
Explodes after a time delay and after he strikes a pose. Can't forget that part.
So
and now he's found the turtle.
Yes. And he thinks it's Bulma. So the state of this movie is in no small part due to the Korean film industry in general, especially in regards to its tokusatsu stuff and kung fu genre movies, where few titles ever played outside of Korea, and even within Korea itself, they're just not generally really well preserved. For instance, the original Korean dialogue for what is probably South Korea's most famous kaiju movie, actually, Yongari, is lost. So the only way to watch the movie is actually dubbed in English. That's the only way to watch the whole movie.
Wow. Because
the Korean dialogue reels are just lost. Another reason is that these Korean movies have a history of, let's say, directly borrowing clips from other movies to repurpose into their narratives, causing them to possibly run afoul of copyright law claims. There's a movie called War of the God Monsters that I almost even hesitate to bring up because it has been released by, I'll just not even say what company released it in order to not get them in trouble. Every single special effects clip from the entire movie is just clips from Ultraman movies or Ultraman shows.
Oh my.
And they built up just a whole narrative around it. There's a couple of exceptions of sequences, like effect sequences that they did themselves, and they're super obvious because as low budget as Ultraman sometimes is, the sequences that these people attempted to do are 1,000 times worse. And I hate to even say, to say that way makes it sound like I think Ultraman is bad. I think Ultraman at times has some great effects work, especially for what it is. Just like this movie, honestly. It's funny and it's silly and we're laughing at it at times, but for what this movie is,
it's pretty decent so far.
Yeah. So This tradition begins early on for Korean genre movies, as its first giant monster movie ever, Space Monster Wong Mogwi, was actually sued by the movie it was attempting to beat to the punch, the aforementioned Yongari. This is the bear bandit from the openings of Dragon Ball. It's just some guy.
It's a perfect recreation, honestly.
This is at least one of the reasons why Space Monster Won Mogwi went basically unseen for decades before being found in the South Korean film archives and ultimately licensed and released by SRS Cinema. Is the same ever going to happen for Dragon Ball Fight Son Goku Win Son Goku?
God, I hope so.
Probably not, though. Shueisha would likely disallow this movie's wide release, which is the more I watch this, the more of a shame I feel like that is.
It really is a shame.
Because I would 100% buy a pristine Blu-ray of this.
Yeah, I could see that.
This would be such a fun movie to watch, like, with a bunch of people. I would watch it. He pokes him in the eyes.
Which I think he does in the manga, actually.
Yeah, this would be a great movie to show, like, at an anime convention or something, like at, like a crowd of Dragon Ball fans.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
The movie is directed by Ron Wong, as I mentioned much earlier, also known as Mike Wong for international appeal, here's where you get to explaining some of what has gone on with the direction of this movie, despite the choreography being great. He was primarily an actor and martial arts stunt coordinator.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Known largely for appearing in various Korean knockoffs of other properties or low-quality B-movies. So he's a guy who would often just be in movies and was the stunt coordinator, and they were like, "Oh, you're the stunt coordinator? You can direct this time." And this is what happened.
We don't have the budget for a director. You do it.
I looked through his credits, and I found various appearances of him as Beggar So. Not usually explicitly named Beggar So as such, but obvious from the type of movie. His appearance as a grizzled man with white hair and red nose, and the movie being called something like Legend of Drunken Fist, or Shaolin Drunken Monkey, or something similar like that. And his character would often be, it wouldn't be Beggar So, but it would be like Homeless Beggar, or Drunken Beggar, or something like that.
They're just kind of lampshading it and hoping that, like, the culture itself will understand the shorthand.
Right, yeah. So he's based on the character. We did Drunken Master for Halloween last year, so he's based on that character, which is in part sort of the basis for Speak of the Devil, Master Roshi appearing in this movie for the first time, and it is something else.
What did he do to that poor turtle?
He wrote him for some reason. And then called her a good girl, and then farted on him. Now, it's saying good girl, that might be a weird translation thing. And not even translation thing, but like subtitling issue. Because I always thought the turtle was a guy. Not that I care, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I always kind of assumed he was too.
It could be a weird, like, this movie is obviously not, it's not officially released, it's not officially subtitled, so it could have been like a weird subtitling mistake almost, which, for a movie that's fan subbed here, I've seen way worse fan subtitles. There's occasional moments that are a little awkward, but I've seen so much worse.
Yeah, no, in general, like I can follow the storyline and what's going on.
Yeah. Ron Wang was also in a few Godfrey Ho movies, and if you know anything about Godfrey Ho, you'll get a feel for the type of things Ron Wang must have been in. If you don't know about Godfrey Ho, very briefly, he's a former director believed to have directed more than 100 films in Hong Kong, including 80 from 1980 to 1990. He would go out, he'd film a whole bunch of coverage and scenes. He'd be like, oh, I've got this cool looking area, a nice time of day, film a whole bunch of different fight scenes. I'll figure out a movie later. And then he would just stitch things together around footage.
Right on.
Ron Wang would also direct Korean adaptations of Fist of the North Star, Yu Yu Hakusho, and Street Fighter. And,
all pretty good.
And Flying Nimbus has shown up. And Roshi. I like that effect of him like falling through it, actually.
That was pretty good.
But now you'll see... when Goku goes flying around on it.
They're doing the thing like in old like sci-fi space movies where like when they show long shots of like the ships flying, like it's clearly like a model or some kind of like toy almost, and that's literally what they had flying around.
They're whipping it around too, though. Like
it's pretty funny.
And then when they do close-up shots, it's very obviously like they put a whole bunch of cotton or something on a platform, and they're just like dragging this platform, like for close-up shots of Goku, quote unquote, flying on the Kinto-un. This movie is written by Seokun Yoon, who must have also specialized in this type of knockoff, given his various credits, including a movie I've actually added to my watch list called Sparkman, which seems to be a ripoff of Super Sentai or Power Rangers for the layperson, or maybe Jetman. By the way, when there's one example of this movie like toning down some of the lewdness, when Roshi goes to give Bulma the Dragon Ball, instead of her like flashing him, he like is pretending to give it to her, and she like trips forward and kisses him. And like that's it.
Aw. That's way more wholesome.
It is actually. And then randomly,
cuts.
Right from the beach, they are just suddenly in a village. It just hard cuts to the oolong part of the story. I don't know if there's something missing.
I'd like to think there isn't anything missing.
Furthering the exploitation vibe beyond just watching this movie is editor Hyun Dong-chun, known for movies like Bruce Lee Fights Back from Beyond the Grave, Eagle vs. Silver Fox, which if you Snake in Eagle's Shadow was a real movie, Space Transformer, Shaolin Drunken Fight, and a slew of other movies that almost sound like they could be real titles you might have heard of before. Kind of like how the Asylum makes Transmorphers, or I Am Omega, or Atlantic Rim. Maybe there's gems within all this exploitation garbage that these guys, Rian Wong and Seokun Yoon are making. In fact, there probably are. If I'm enjoying the crap out of this movie, there's probably some gems in there. I know, like I said, Asylum has some breakthrough hits, like the Mega Shark series was a bit of a breakthrough hit for them, or Sharknado. And like I said, do not sleep on their absolute banger, Air Collision. Watch Air Collision. That's my imperative to everyone today.
That's our not so subliminal messaging.
It's our liminal message.
Yeah.
Our superliminal message.
That's the whole reason we did this episode, was just so we could tell people to watch Air Collision.
Yeah, the Dragon Radar looks like a game, like not a Game Boy.
Like one of those Tiger handheld electronic games.
Yeah, but it's got like a flip up on it, almost like a DS,
like a screen protector of some sort.
Playing the part of Goku is Hyo Sung-tae, who only has, from what I could find, one other credit to his name, and sadly I have to bury what that title is because of important reasons that will become clear in time throughout the course eventually.
Ominous.
I will reveal his other movie that he's in at some point, but I can't do it now.
Okay.
Bulma is played by Lee Joo-hee, Yamcha by Lee Kyae-yong, both of whom have no other roles. And Oolong, who we're going to be seeing shortly, is played by Jang Min-seok, who wound up appearing alongside Hyo Seong-tae again, and also appeared in a couple of Street Fighter ripoffs as Dalsim, the stretchy guy. Now, this is Oolong, but this is not the Oolong that we're going to be seeing throughout most of this movie.
Oh, okay.
This is Oolong.
This is his shape-shifted version.
Yes, trying to look suave to pick up his new wife. Our most accomplished, I guess, credited actor is Hyung-rae Shim as Master Roshi. Shim appeared in a series of Korean Sentai knockoff films known as Thunderhawk as the character Esperman, who's the main hero, and whose mecha was literally repurposed model kits from the Phoenix Thunderhawk from the 1985 anime Ninja Senshi Tobikaze. So they just took this model kit and were like, hey, that thing looks cool, let's make a show about it. By the way, Goku is going to go pee, and this is like a paved area. And look at this stream of pee that comes out of him, and you're gonna die.
Our boy is well hydrated.
They just like turned a hose on. But like, look at where he just peed. That's like a paved area.
Mm-hmm.
That's disgusting. At least in the anime and the manga, he peed like in the bushes. There's like no, I don't know. I don't understand what this like village that they're in is. It's almost like they found like an outdoor like shopping center or something.
Oh yeah, that could be.
Because it's all paved. And
the quick change was masterful.
And okay, yeah, and then Oolong's gonna transform again. He's gonna turn into... This is a pretty sweet costume.
This is giving me like Megazord vibes right here.
Yeah, or like Voltron, or like Voltron. Look at this thing. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, they spent some money on things in this. It's crazy that they then like. So this is. It's crazy.
It's just so weird how like you'll have this really awesome like detailed suit and all these special effects, and then you'll just also have scenes where they just have like a cotton ball with a little dude on it just flying through trees in the forest.
Or like the power pole is very obviously. Bekinney's dying because we just got our first look at Oolong.
He looks like a sports mascot.
Wait till you see at various times this poor guy try to walk around in this thing. It's pretty obvious he can't see well out of it. And he like is stumbling around.
I do have to give them points for them trying to give the mask some kind of articulation.
The ears wiggle, the mouth moves.
Moves a little bit. It's a good effort. It looks terrible.
Yeah.
Jump cut to the boat.
Jump cut to being on the boat and Oolong being with them. This and this is Mai, I think.
She just like dropped a mile off a cliff. completely unfazed.
So this Hyung-rae Shim also starred in a series of films as the character Yong-gu, who was introduced. She can transform into a centipede?
I guess. And that centipede is apparently a swimmer that can catch their jet ski.
Like, it's we mentioned before, like, it's so crazy. They spend some money like making this awesome robot costume. They spend a lot of time being super faithful to the manga and the anime, and then they just like randomly have Mai be able to shapeshift into a red-headed centipede that chases a jet ski through the, like, why is that a thing? And then they also randomly decide, hey, let's put a Saiyan armor on a random guy. Like, just madness. The character Yong-gu was introduced on television but became a staple of Korean comedy cinema. A character similar to like Medea or Ernest, Yong-gu gets into wacky situations that are far beyond his scope of understanding as a dopey buffoon. One such Yong-gu movie, Yong-gu and Princess Zuzu, features a kaiju that's a knockoff of Yongari and a plot that's a knockoff of Gorgo, with the parent monster wreaking havoc in a bid to rescue the baby monster. Why the movie references Princess Zuzu when that's the monster's name is really anybody's guess, but the movie was actually pretty important for Korean cinema, as Shim wound up becoming the director with this kaiju thing and establishing the film studio Yong-gu Arts, and he would go on to remake with this studio, they would remake the Yongari movie in 1999. They do a Yongari movie. It's most famous for being like the most expensive Korean film of all time at the time it was made, as well as the movie D-War, Dragon Wars, which our friends on Failure to Franchise covered. Shim's approach to filmmaking is basically the opposite of every person who has ever successfully picked up a camera, as he believes that experience and preparation are detrimental to creativity, as they teach people things that aren't possible. And so he goes in attempting to plan out his movies as little as possible.
That seems like a recipe for success, honestly. I'm loving this centipede scene because it's very clear that this kid's just flailing around in the water with like a pool toy. But then the better part is the centipede chasing the jet ski when you can clearly see that it's just being dragged along by a rope that they have tied to the jet ski.
So Shim became the director of the Yong-gu franchise, and he portrayed Yong-gu many times over the years in movies where he encountered Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, Wolfman, a giant red centipede that looks an awful lot like the one that pops out of Master Korin's water basins in that one filler sequence in Dragon Ball. And it looks like it might have even possibly just come from this movie, too. Like, because it looks pretty similar.
That would be hilarious.
He fought Rambo, Yong-gu, which was actually just a killer robot, not Rambo at all. The Three Musketeers, Master Thief Lupin, Golden Bat, and perhaps helped lead to the money that was able to finance Yongari and D-War. In 1995, a Yong-gu movie called Power King was released, which was a cash-in on both Power Rangers and the Korean anime Muta King, and it was popular enough that it actually received the Power Rangers treatment, where the effects scenes were repurposed around scenes with white actors, and that movie is called Armacron in Outlaw Power, or Power Warriors, or Masked Rider AMC. I'm not sure, but it's like available. It's like a Power Rangers type of thing. Shim also directed and starred in 1994's Tyranno Claw, another possible source of money for Yongari or D-War, as the movie's essentially dialogue-free and therefore extremely accessible, being a riff on like 1 million years BC in that way. And it actually got some release, I believe, where it was like internationally released to an extent, so now you're actually getting money instead of just releasing these Korean comedies in Korea. Now we've got, did you notice when Goku gave Oolong the poopy pill?
He had to like shove it in the mask's mouth? Yes, it did.
So, wait for this. He is just...
Dude's just ass out. Hey, he had toilet paper on him? You know what? Props for being prepared.
This poor guy, having to do all this with this mask on, and it's like obvious he can barely see anything out of it. My wild ride through learning about all this Korean exploitation found me uncovering movies featuring Jiangxi, Giant Centipedes, the Ninja Turtles, Saiyans, Batman, Gremlins, E.T., Gatchaman, Wonder Woman, King Kong, Street Fighter characters, RoboCop, dragons, and even a monster whose Korean name means bullshit.
Nice.
There are decades worth of these movies, and a lot of them look insanely fun, like great bad movie night watches, including Ninja Turtles that look literally like the Playmates toys, and Batman looking so much like Big Daddy from Kick-Ass, I had to do a double take, and I was like, wait a minute, isn't that just Big Daddy from Kick-Ass?
Nice.
And probably some genuinely good effects, too. And most of these movies...
Real quick, I just have to question the director deciding to show him pooping more than once. This doesn't really seem necessary.
Most of these movies, sadly, are difficult or impossible to see, and they may only exist unsubtitled. Here's Puar, by the way.
This is just a stuffed animal?
I think it's a hand puppet.
Even better.
Wait till you see him go talk to Yamcha in a second here. Yeah, I think he's just like a hand puppet, because he's moving. And he comes flying in.
They just threw it.
And he's smoking.
Okay, nice. Wait. Does Puar have nipples and a belly button? Or am I seeing things?
I think he does. There's some great location scouting for this, by the way. Like, that looks a lot like Yamcha's lair in the
It
manga.
really does, yeah.
Like I said, it's weird the lengths they go to follow it at times, and then the lengths they similarly go to completely disregard it.
Oh, that's some fantastic wire work right there. He does have nipples and a belly button. I'm going insane.
Now, in the middle of the wilderness, suddenly there's a paved highway, and Yamcha is tearing down it.
Driving a sports car.
In his car that has no hood.
Wow, look at that fan spin. Puar's just sitting on his shoulder.
These movies like only maybe exist unsubtitled too is a shame. That's why it's like such a blessing that this one actually has subtitles. There's an entire universe of these movies out there waiting to be discovered or rediscovered, and it's really not until Bong Joon-ho had his breakout hits a few times in like the mid-2000s with The Host and Okja that the mentality around Korean genre cinema started to change, even within Korea itself, and switch from being like exploitation knockoffs to actually doing their own thing as more of a general rule. With the release of some of these insane movies that I've mentioned on at least somewhat official labels, maybe it's just a matter of time before we see like kind of a resurgence of this, and I would dig that. Again, I would imagine the thing is there's so many hundreds of these out there. I would imagine that if someone is combing through and winding up releasing one, they're actually going through and they're picking the ones that are like the most fun.
Yeah, no, I could see that. This is something.
And you have to approach all these things with the right attitude because, no doubt, they're the type of thing that if you thought you were watching something official, you'd probably be furious. Whether that's the Asylum mockbuster, the Turksploitation movie, the Italian ripoff / unofficial sequel, or apparently Korean unofficial adaptations, they're all low budget. They're generally poorly made. They're all trying to cash in on the popularity of whatever they're riffing on, but if you have that in mind, you can find the entertainment in them instead of being infuriated by their existence. Like, yes, if you said, "Hey mom, can I get Dragon Ball, like the season sets?" and she was like, "We have Dragon Ball at home," and showed you this, yeah.
I'd be pretty upset.
You'd be upset. But coming across this in the right context, I don't know, maybe there's more air collisions out there, or Zombie 2s, or Turkish Star Wars, or...
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I agree. I think people need to have the right perspective going into these things, because there's a ton of charm in this. there's actual effort being put into this, and despite the fact that, like you said, it's kind of a knockoff, it's still pretty fun.
Right? Like, that whole sequence with the car right there was
really well done.
Yeah. With the one exception of the shot where he jumps out of the car and is supposed to, like, land on the hood and jump off and land in front of the car. When he lands on the hood, the car is very, very clearly stationary.
Yeah.
But, like, they're trying. The effort is there, and the wire work is fantastic, and, like, I don't know. It's like a miracle. It's the more I watch this movie, too, like, the more you're like, it's a miracle, like, now, we don't know nobody got hurt, but, like, they finished the movie and put it out, so no one could have gotten hurt in any serious way.
I hope.
Also, is the resolution really bad, or is Oolong's star just like a red splotch?
Maybe a little column A, a little column B.
Like, they might have toned it down, maybe, for...
I'm really appreciating Yamcha's hair here.
I think these are wigs. I think these have to be.
I think Yamcha's is a wig. I still think maybe they're just doing Goku's hair like that.
That's crazy. Plumbing the depths of the internet for this movie and notes, I ran across a whole bunch of oddities and versions that have attempted to be preserved over the years. There's a bunch of, like, throw it on YouTube versions. I'd recommend avoiding most of these if at all possible, as they're either not subtitled or they're, like, auto-generated subtitles that auto-generated in Korea and then auto-translate into English by YouTube. And if you try to watch them like that, it's like, it's word salad.
Gotcha.
It makes no sense. If you've ever watched a movie this way, and I have a couple of times in my life, the plot almost becomes incomprehensible. Now, would you be able to follow it still? Yeah, kinda, but no, it's not like what you want to watch. There's at least one on YouTube where perhaps in order to evade detection and being taken down, the movie's played just back to back, such that the video runs over 3.5 hours. When I pulled it up, I was like, what? 3.5 hours? Is this like some sort of insane uncut version? No, it was just the movie back to back twice. There's the Internet Archive version that appears to be pretty good. There's also a version that popped up recently in June of 2024 that's only 50 minutes long, and it's presented as a full movie. This has really well done subtitles, but it's obviously only half the movie, notably the second half. I don't know the full story behind this one, but it's like it has a few introductory commercials to other things, and then the second half of the movie starts. So possibly there was some attempt to put this movie out in parts to try and get people to buy 2 different tapes. I have no idea. This person said they found it at a garage sale or something. They uploaded it to YouTube with better done subtitles. They say it's like the best looking version of the movie. I kind of spot checked it. I don't think the subtitles are so much crazy better than the ones here. The ones here are fine. You can follow them and everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't think the quality looked that much better. And then also it's only 50 minutes out of an hour, 45-minute movie. So it's not even the whole movie. So I kind of don't know what that other thing, what that person was doing. Maybe that was some sort of a TV broadcast? I have no idea. Yeah, I didn't watch it in enough detail to scrub through for complete lists of differences to the full version. And that is pretty much all of my prepared notes on this movie. That's everything I had, everything I could find. It's hard to find things about a ripoff.
A movie that's not supposed to exist?
Yes. Yes, it's really hard to find stuff about this. So that's all I have.
Wait, was that his Wolfang fist there just now?
I think so.
Oh, that was terrible.
Again, yeah, why randomly is this choreography bad all of a sudden?
I don't know. I think maybe to try and drive home the fact that Yamcha's more of a gag character, but now he's kicking Goku's ass, so I'm not really sure where they're going with this right now.
I stumbled across a a 1994 movie called Super Kid that is like, it's absolutely an animated knockoff of Dragon Ball. Like when you look this thing up, I'll even read I mean, we're gonna have to cover it eventually, but okay, I'm gonna read the plot synopsis for you that's on Letterboxd. In the year 2023,
okay,
hurrying for a scoop, Yoonju, a very active girl reporter, meets Gakdari and his super kids who specialize in arresting space criminals. The Godkari group consists of space warriors. Their job is to do good by getting rid of space rascals. At the right moment, they arrest a space monster named Wang Dochi and another criminal by locking them in a mysterious golden stick, which is widely reported by Yoonju. 1 month later, a police chief and an inspector visit Gakdari and his super kids and ask them to arrest Judaogui, the most violent criminal in space, a 90-foot-tall monster resembling an elephant, carrying a strong energizer bead and equipped with supernatural powers.
And you're saying this is supposed to be a Dragon Ball knockoff?
If you look up Super Kid, it looks like Goku is like flying at you.
Okay.
It's like a ripoff of Dragon Ball in some way. We'll have to...
And
maybe
so begins the love story between Yamcha and Bulma.
I mean, maybe I end up watching it and report back that nope, it wasn't really, but like if you Google image search it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that absolutely is.
And okay, the other thing I found, and I'm gonna reveal it now because again I'm out of notes.
This is the kid that plays Goku, right?
Hyo Sung-tae's other movie.
Okay.
It is called Fighting Fighter, which that sounds innocent enough.
Yeah.
It is also directed by Ryong Wang. It is Korean, apocryphal, and very free adaptation of the famous manga Dragon Ball, where the popular Son Goku acts as a detective, while the Earth is invaded by aliens known as Saiyans, discarding neuronically toxic tape where there is also room for giant robots and intergalactic kung fu. It is a sequel to this movie where Goku is now a police detective.
Okay. How exactly could Goku be a detective when he's not particularly bright?
Don't worry about that.
No, you're right. I probably shouldn't.
Maybe we'll find out when we watch that movie.
I mean, yeah, we definitely have to watch that movie. There's no way I'm not going to watch that movie.
Like, halfway into this, I absolutely am down. Look at Poir. How cute.
Adorable.
I want one of those.
But only if it has the nipples and belly button.
Now, here's
Peeping Tom.
Here's my ultimate disappointment in this movie. Is all the crazy things they do, and they didn't make... You know how in the manga, when he sees Bulma, his eyes turn into boobs? They didn't make prosthetic boobs to put over this guy's eyes.
That would have been amazing. I would love to see that. Why? Like, why? I don't understand. I know I'm kind of stuck on it, but I just can't understand why they would feel the need to put nipples and a belly button on Poir. It just... It seems so completely unnecessary.
Maybe this is where Joel Schumacher got his inspiration from. He was like, man, that Korean ripoff Dragon Ball movie was getting it right.
They absolutely had it figured out. We need nipples and belly buttons on everything.
And so here Chi-Chi's coming in, and this is where, like I was mentioning before, like she's very definitely wearing like a bodysuit.
Yeah.
But the costume is...
The
The costume is also crazy spot on.
I'm loving the helmet. The helmet's amazing.
Oh, it's like way too big.
Way too big. It's like the start.
It's like it's like they only had adult-sized motorcycle helmets.
Oh man, this is amazing.
And this is the stand-in for the T-Rex that's chasing her. Did you notice too? Okay, so she throws the thing off the top of her head.
Yeah.
And it goes flying and it explodes because what doesn't explode in this movie?
Right. But
then she goes to do the beam attack from her helmet.
Nothing.
And it's like they forgot to rotoscope in the animation. Because then the guy does still explode.
Okay, so we're at Fry Pan Mountain now.
Yes, and Ox King's castle is very definitely just like some cardboard that they're shooting from further away.
It's got like a couple of propane like burners.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a movie that exists. Isn't that something?
This is wild. I had no idea this was a thing.
I'm looking.
All right, come on. I gotta see Ox King. Come on. Where's he at? He's gotta be here.
Oh, he's coming. He'll be coming soon. He's pretty manga faithful. Yeah, like as I tried researching this movie, I mean, I don't know if some of these names of people who were in this or involved in this are like common names in Korea, you know, like the equivalent of like trying to research like, I don't want to say like a Joe Smith, but
yeah, I get what you mean. Like you don't know if like you're looking up the actual person or if it's somebody with just a similar name.
Yeah. Cuz I tried looking up like one of the stunt coordinators and I got like a bunch of research papers. I'm not 100% sure, I guess. But I'm pretty sure that nobody who made this movie was doing, doctor level research on cell structures.
Well, maybe this was just a side gig to pay for school. I approve of Ox King design, by the way. This is pretty good.
Yeah. See, but then he says, have you seen a girl with a bikini and a helmet? And so, like, it's, like, I remember the first time I watched this, I was like, wait a minute. Chi-Chi wasn't wearing a bikini. She was wearing, like, a bodysuit. But now I realize it was, like, meant to be a bikini, but, like, I think they were trying to maybe... I'll give them credit for that. Like,
yeah, maybe they were trying to not sexify the young girl that they have.
Exactly. Trying to make sure the young girl's body doesn't get completely shown off. I applaud. Well done, Korea in 1990.
Yeah.
I like how the flying Nimbus just definitely has like dry ice all over it.
Oh yeah.
And it's probably a total safety hazard. Cuz it's like steaming all the time.
Oh, did they give him a red beard? I love it. It's great.
They like painted this guy's beard red. I think his eyebrows too. Everything explodes.
We're getting some pretty good shots here with the Nimbus. Honestly, not bad at all.
This actress who's playing what the heck?
I guess Ox King has telekinesis.
He just shouts her up into the air. The actress who plays Bulma, it's very obvious on multiple different occasions that she like is having a fun time.
Yeah, I would think so.
If you notice, like multiple times, like almost like it would almost be like the instant a take starts, kind of. She's got like this weird, like kind of grin on her face. Like it's pretty obvious that she's just having like a good time.
I mean, you kind of have to doing stuff like this, I would think, because this is still going to be a lot of work. And you know that it's not for like a Hollywood level release. So, I mean, you have to be getting something out of it, right?
Or do you know that? I don't...
You know, that's a good point.
Like, I've told you about Pulgasari before, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, they thought they were making real movies.
That's true.
They were
Maybe
kidnapped.
maybe
They were
maybe she
kidnapped to
thought
make
this was
them.
how Hollywood works, and that's why she's so happy.
Maybe. I mean, they were for Pulgasari, they were kidnapped to make them, and this is South Korea, so they're not doing any of that. I don't think. I don't think anyone was making this movie against their will.
I mean, maybe Oolong.
That guy just constantly under his mask is mouthing like, "Help me, help me."
I could see it.
What a crazy, like, then there's times where the picture judders enough that I'm like, "Oh, did it did it get edited together there? Is a reel missing?" Like just that jump cut.
Some of these cuts are so sudden.
That jump cut to Goku flying, and then like the Nimbus is, like I said, it's just obviously like a
being dragged along.
And he finds Chi-Chi, and she's just like, "My helmet is just too big for me."
How does she even hold her head up?
Yeah, I don't.
Did they dub in the voices for this scene?
Oh, I don't know. Is that what it sounds like?
Yeah, they look like they've been ADR'd for this.
Huh. So they had access to ADR technology, is what you're telling me. Not only the technology, but the means and the know-how and they only decided to do it in that moment.
This one too, honestly.
I'm watching this muted at the moment, so.
Oh, okay. So that would make sense then.
I didn't notice when I watched it if this scene felt like it was like 80-yard. Sometimes hard for me to catch when I'm. See here, his tail's his weakness.
They kept all this in. This is actually really cool.
I still don't understand what's happening with this kid's nose.
At least it's been consistent throughout the whole movie. If it was only in certain scenes, I'd find it way more aggravating.
It's weird because it'd be a thing if it was on everyone. I would think, oh, this is some sort of weird, like they thought it was gonna look good because maybe it's like something that you do when you're on like a stage, you know, so that like your nose, like the bottom of your nose is more pronounced under the lights.
Sure, yeah, I could see that
or something.
Yeah, no, I've done a couple stage productions, like local stuff, and that is the thing with the makeup. Like, it's to accentuate your features because with the lighting, your features get washed out on stage. So that makes sense to me. I could see that.
But they don't do it to anyone else.
That's true. Maybe.
Do you like the Kame House?
It's just a cardboard cutout. Dude's just sitting on its chair out on this rocky island. Cardboard cutout for a house. This is great.
And then they keep in this joke where Master Roshi like is laughing at the name Chi-Chi, and we talked about that when we talked about Chi-Chi as a character, that Chi-Chi in Japanese can mean like boobs.
Yeah.
But do you think that would translate to Korean?
Maybe? I'm not sure. I don't know.
That was a question. That's an interesting question. Like, Because they keep a lot of that stuff the same. And I'm wondering, like, were Korean audiences equally confused?
Well, my assumption is anybody that watches this is already familiar with Dragon Ball, right?
You would think.
You would think. That's true. So I'm wondering if maybe they're just keeping the stuff in because they're like, well, the only people that are going to watch this are people that are already fans of the show.
That just makes the changes more confusing.
Roshi's getting his junk bit by the turtle.
That's not from the manga, but that feels
that's an artistic decision.
That feels like a gag Toriyama would have done.
Yeah, probably.
I think the reason he wouldn't is because that just feels very out of character for Turtle to be that violent.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm honestly, like, as quickly as they jump between stuff, I'm kind of surprised they're doing all of this minutia just for him to not get the Bancho fan.
The jump cut, that's the part where this movie like barely hangs together as a narrative is how hard it cuts from like plot point to plot point and like scene to scene at times, you know, like they're on the beach meeting everything up until they meet Master Roshi for the first time on the beach is pretty
one-to-one.
Yeah. And pretty well structured and flows pretty well. Then all of a sudden they're just in Oolong's village. No idea how they got there or even what's happening.
Yeah. They're just walking to some dude's house and he attacks them with an axe. It's like, whoa.
And then then just all of a sudden they're at Fry Pan Mountain and then, you know, you jump, then you basically smash cut to him finding Cheat. Like it barely hangs together as a narrative. It's almost like a series of vignettes. It's almost where that thing where I mentioned someone has like a 50-minute version of this that they found like a VHS of. Mm-hmm. It almost makes sense that this was like maybe released on TV.
It may be.
I'm
trying to see if like there are spots where it looks like maybe it was the end of an episode or something though, and I haven't seen anything, or unless they're doing like maybe like a 2-part thing and I just missed it.
Or those smash cuts are smashed because they are cutting out.
Like transitions for commercials and stuff.
Yeah. We missed another thing that just was this part's madness. This is insane.
Are they fighting? What's going on?
So that was for those not watching along with us. Goku went to go see Roshi and tried to get him. Hey, you got the Bancho fan? I don't have it anymore. And he says, it's okay, I can go put out the fire myself. And he says, I'll just call Gamera. And Turtle says, Master Roshi, don't you remember? You ate him. And so he says, oh yeah, I guess you're right. I'll have to ride you. And then he flies on Turtle. But first they fight for a little bit. They have this really weird Turtle and Roshi in this. Like it's like they
antagonistic to each other.
It's like they took that like slightly passive aggressive relationship that they have in the manga and ramped it up to
11. Yeah.
Because Roshi is like constantly farting on Turtle and
abusing him physically.
Yeah.
I guess I kind of understand why he bit Roshi's dick now. Roshi's kind of a jerk in this version, honestly.
I mean, he's not that great in the original story, but
true.
This part makes...
But in this version, like, he doesn't even have like the little bit of charm that Roshi has.
This part makes no sense whatsoever. So this would be the equivalent of when he, I think, like Pafu's Bulma.
Oh.
But what we've got going on here is Ox King lying prostrate on the ground with Bulma sitting on his butt and Roshi's sitting on his back behind him, and Roshi is like, I don't know, like sniffing Bulma?
And Turtle's watching this the whole time, by the way.
This is like one of the most uncomfortable scenes ever. And then, did you notice that cut right there?
Yeah. Like there was multiple takes or something, and they were trying to figure out which one to put in there.
And they the one take had like completely different lighting because her shirt looks like a completely different color. And then all of a sudden it's just that's it. Like he didn't even really do anything to Bulma, but just the feeling of it is like so uncomfortable.
It's super creepy to watch. I'm not enjoying this at all.
It's like way more uncomfortable than what happens in the manga. The bald cap on Roshi here is something else too.
Yeah.
It's so poorly blended. Mr. Roshi is a pervert.
Yeah, we all know.
Oh, here's where he's going to put out the fire using the oh boy, I don't think they ever say Kamehameha. But wait till you see this. Very obviously, like, someone else's
completely
body.
Different guy, yeah.
And they just go close-ups on Roshi's face.
Oh, now we gotta hide it with a weird angle.
Yep.
And a wide shot. We just blow up the entire castle.
I like that, like in the manga, the reason that scene like works is because, or in the anime, it works because like there's this big wind and this big explosion, and then everything's blown up. I like in this, he basically puts out the fire on Fry Pan Mountain by lighting it on fire.
But then castle falls off the mountain and the fire goes with it. So technically he did put out the fire on the mountain.
I'll put out your fire by
moving it to another location entirely.
Now, they never call it the Kamehameha wave in this, I don't think.
I haven't seen it yet.
Again, that could be a subtitling. It could be a skill issue, as they say. Subtitling issue. Also disappointing that Goku just blows up a tree stump with his first Kamehameha blast instead of a car.
Well, a car would be too expensive, so.
They have that. They have Yamcha's car.
And it already looks like it's been blown up.
Yeah, they could have just like put a cardboard trunk on it.
Why not just use a cardboard cutout of a car? I mean, we did it for Roshi's house.
It's also basically what Ox King's castle looked like. It looked like a bunch of cardboard.
I'm pretty sure it was cardboard. That's why he was worried about the fire, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, my cardboard house is on fire. This will only last a couple of minutes at most. I can't get over that helmet on Chi-Chi.
It's so ridiculous. It's like 5 sizes too big.
What?
What? Why did they stick hair up his nose?
I don't know. And then Pilaf's castle is like...
It looks like a theme park, honestly.
Okay, yeah. Actually, something happens in the movie later that's going to make that be 100% absolutely what happens. You're going to lose your mind when you see it. And it has to do with Pilaf. This is only Pilaf's second scene, which that I guess is true to the manga and everything, but like it's only Pilaf's second scene. There's only like
okay. Yeah, this is absolutely filmed at an amusement park.
Look at this though, like why? There's no explanation given for why Pilaf has this room in his castle that is like moving.
It's like one of those.
It's definitely the funhouse room.
Yeah, with the hallway that like tilts back and forth.
Yeah. And this guy, like, the actor is really playing it up, that it's, like, very unsteady. But there's no explanation whatsoever.
They're like, we need to shoot hallway. They're like, well, we got this hallway in the funhouse, but it moves. Well, that's good enough. We'll just use that.
Like, nobody else, none of the other actors are playing up how much it moves. Just him.
That's what makes it better, in my opinion. That's how committed to the part he is.
It's like every actor was told, like, just do whatever feels right in any given scene.
That the guy playing Pilaf is clearly a method actor because he's staying in character and just reacting as the character would react to his surroundings. Because I could absolutely see Pilaf in that situation being, like, knocked off balance by a simple funhouse hallway.
I like Yamcha, like, sneaking around in the background, but it's like...
it's obvious that he's...
so obvious how bad he's sneaking around. Like, yes, and then this guy in the Saiyan armor is Murasaki. That's Pilaf says that to him. He says, Murasaki! And he says, yes, my lord, I'll take care of it. And it's like, why?
Yeah, why Murasaki? I'm so confused. Like, why not just have it be Shu? First of all. Second... Did that guy just explode for no reason?
Yes! Someone was gonna sneak up on Goku and he just exploded. And then they're in this, like, mine car chase, and there's like I don't know where all these other people came from who are suddenly with Roshi or Murasaki.
Murasaki, yeah. Well, it's his four brothers, right?
And like
this has absolutely been filmed at like an amusement park. That explains the Oolong Village thing because it was probably just like some outdoor like market or like restaurant square or something in the park.
Okay, yeah.
The mine carts and everything, Pilaf's castle.
I like that Bulma has her outfit from like the end of the first part of Dragon Ball, but just no explanation again whatsoever for her changing clothes.
Because she's a young hip girl. She clearly has multiple outfits ready to go at any point in time.
Wild that then they never did the bunny costume. Who are those guys?
Is it the same dudes or no?
Do you think those guys in the top right corner were supposed to be off camera?
Probably, especially because like they didn't even react when those guys came walking out.
You weren't supposed to see those guys? I like Murasaki's gigantic sword. That
is pretty fun.
It looks like the bear thief's sword.
Actually, yeah, it does.
It's that gigantic size. And here Goku's about to go nuts with his power noodle pull.
Yes, attack him one at a time. This couldn't possibly fail.
Everything in this movie sparks and explodes.
You know what? Quick shout out to the sound design guys because they actually did a really good job with the sound effects.
So what's funny is you mentioning that it like was definitely filmed in an amusement park and like so maybe this scene was also, when I watched it through the first time, I was thinking like this was just filmed in a cave, which is also still possible. They might have also just gone into a cave and filmed some stuff.
Absolutely.
I'm like, if they actually filmed in a cave, wild that, again, they didn't all die in a cave in because they are just blowing stuff up inside of this cave left and right. There's explosions.
Nice.
Like crazy in this cave. And then if it's an amusement park, They just lit various parts of this amusement park on fire.
Oh, are they exploding maybe because they're
Are they
robots?
supposed to be robots?
And now we've
They
been
needed
teleported.
This is like the mandatory, we need to get to the end of the movie, so they just said, there's magic.
We'll go ahead and teleport to the bad guy now.
And where's this, like, what's this robot? And why was there a brief shot of mirrors?
Don't question it. Just enjoy it.
You really have to just let this movie wash over you. It's an experience.
This guy almost looks like a live action Transformer.
Okay, and then Goku goes to attack, and Oolong is like, "No, you don't. I will fight with my."
Yes, the consummate coward is going to go ahead and fight 1-on-1 against a robot. I believe that.
What is this robot? Like, what is this even from? Again, you stay.
I mean, I'm all for watching this guy in the Oolong outfit get his ass kicked. That's hilarious.
You stay so true to
all the other stuff and everything.
I like that Goku like threw his power pole up in the air to do a backflip to like catch it as it came down, but when he went to like catch it, it came from like the side,
completely different direction. Yeah.
Definitely somebody threw it.
Well,
to
see,
him.
that's what makes it such a high skill move, because the power pole does not bounce off of things like it normally would.
You throw it up in the air and it comes to you like from the side.
Oh no, I know what the issue is. It's so floppy and pool noodly that it acts more like a boomerang. So it doesn't come back in a straight line. It curves.
Like you stay so close for so many things. Even like
now Goku's just shooting rockets out.
Even Murasaki, like at least you use the name Murasaki and you have Saiyan armor, I guess, whatever. But then there's just this green robot. And they're blasting rockets at each other.
I'm wondering if the costumes that they got have something to do with the amusement park that they filmed in.
I'm gonna say no, and also, do you like how Yamcha says, "Don't worry, we have my car," and he whistles, and the car
so
comes?
Flies? Not only does the car come to him like Knight Rider, but it's like it flies. Why wasn't it flying when he drove it earlier?
So now I'm wondering, do you think the reason this car doesn't have a hood or a trunk or a back to it and it's like all that is because they knew they were going to have this thing fly around? And they were like, "Oh man, we got to take some weight off of this thing."
Yeah. Car's doing a roundhouse kick. This is amazing.
Like, what is this? What part of Dragon Ball do they think this is?
I don't even care anymore. This is just pure awesome. We got a weird rocket fight between a flying car and a robot. Yamcha's shooting lasers out of his sword. This is amazing.
We've also, like, at no point does this robot get established.
Yeah, there's no name, no introduction, just we've been teleported out of the cave and now we have to fight a robot.
I also like, did they even defeat
Get
the
in,
robot?
losers, we're going to get in, losers, we're gonna go overthrow Pilaf. I think this might be the best version of Yamcha ever. Oh, look, and Yamcha failed to kill the bad guy. This is pretty accurate.
Wait, is that what the mirror was? He's a mirror robot?
That does not make any sense, but I don't care. All right, everybody,
Whoa.
jumping Yamcha's hoopty. We got to get out of here.
Look at the paint job that was on that too. Like, it's like gridded.
It's got grill marks. It's well done on that side.
It looks like Pinto Ron's car. If you're a Bills fan,
There you go.
you know who. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan, you know who Pinto Ron is. If you're not, he's this guy who's had season tickets for like the entirety of the Bills' existence, and he drives a car that looks like this, and he like cooks on it. And here we're back in Pilaf's magical hallway, and he is like acting like he's on a boat. Do you think they told the actor, "Hey, you're going to be on a boat"?
I don't know. I was thinking maybe he was acting like he's on drugs or something, but I mean, who knows?
I think he just was on drugs, but he's acting like he's on a boat.
Listen, we're gonna give you an 8-ball of Coke, and then we're gonna have you pretend like you're on a boat.
And Pinto Ron also, like, not only does he cook on his car and with shovels and do shots out of bowling balls, but he, before every game, wears a white shirt and has the entire crowd squirt ketchup and mustard at him. And goes into the stadium covered in ketchup and mustard.
Listen, it's just important for man to have a ritual.
Yeah.
Okay. What is it in his? Are those cigarettes in his nose?
Tissues? Chopsticks? I mean, in reality, yes, they're cigarettes, I think.
This version of Pilaf is just straight up unhinged. Oh yeah, that's 100%. That's an amusement park.
Yeah. See, then, like, okay, Goku's like, I'm tired, we need to make a bigger hole, but, like, what? They don't... Here's the amusement park that they're at.
Epcot in the background.
They're at Epcot. So, they don't establish that they've been captured.
No, they're just kind of like here.
And Bulma tells Oolong, and like what? Oolong is just out.
What? Okay, no, there's something's missing here. Something got cut out.
I don't know. I think it's.
I do like that the Dragon Balls are like ruby red in this. That's interesting. Oh yeah, no, that's totally not animation ripped from the show at all. No, absolutely not. That's completely original.
I like they have actors going, "That's awesome!" Like
they can't even see anything. And apparently, they can see out of this hole. Is that what's going on here?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
They clearly had, like... the one thing they definitely had no budget for was Shenron.
The budget for that was $0 because they just ripped it from the show.
Yeah.
Oh, now they're not even looking through the hole anymore. They're just staring at the camera.
Just staring at the camera. How did Oolong get out?
Dude, Pilaf, make your wish already. Holy moly.
Now, here's where the movie realizes, hey, we're a movie, not a show. We have to ump the ante. Instead of being a pair of panties.
Oh, my.
It is a shower of panties.
And it's probably like a dozen pairs. So really, it's more like a sprinkling.
Is this scene in slow motion?
It feels like it. Oh man, this ending is just not coming together well.
Oh. It gets crazier. If you can believe that.
Yeah, the way this movie's gone, I can believe that.
So here is where we get the reveal that this Pilaf isn't just unhinged. He isn't just doing God only knows what when he's acting. He also has magical powers.
Oh.
He's a powerful Pilaf. That when they called him the powerful Pilaf earlier, they weren't kidding.
I guess. This really is just like a multiverse version of Dragon Ball. Somebody get him some Visine, quick.
I think they forgot to add the animation to that part.
A little bit. Oh, okay. I guess they've now escaped the cave. That is clearly not a cave on the other side of that hole.
It's definitely a cave on the other side of that hole. It's not another part of the amusement park. Disney Korea.
Are we sure, or is it just knockoff Disney?
I'm going to have to look into that, honestly. Like, there's the Epcot Dome.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to speculate right now. I think it's just a knockoff Disneyland. Wait, now Pilaf's buddies are there?
I think there's a Disney in Epcot, Korean Epcot.
Oh, so it's legit. Okay.
I don't know. Europa
Oh,
Park?
she's not going to turn into a centipede again, or like
no.
like a stronger monster? I'm disappointed.
It might be. I'm trying to figure it out.
This version of Goku not afraid to beat a woman.
It's Lotte World, South Korea, Lotte.
Okay. Is it actually tied to like Disney in some way?
Or is it possibly Seoul Land? Part of Seoul Grand Park.
Yeah, maybe.
It's going to have to be something that we look into. Seoul Land.
I'm going to have to dig into that because that's interesting.
I'm seeing Seoul Land. Seoul, like Seoul, Korea.
Yeah.
It looks like, as I'm scrolling through, there's this thing that has pictures, and I see the Epcot ball. I'm trying to see if I could see the castle, and be like, oh, yep, that's that castle, definitely. Oh, I think I see Pilaf's hallway.
Nice.
So, yeah. Now, Oolong is being like a competent-ish fighter?
Yeah, it's just taking me right out of the movie. I don't find it believable at all.
So, for sure, if you look up Lotte World, Lotte World, one of the top Google image results, you'll see it looks 100% like that Pilaf's castle.
Oh, okay. Wait, Yamcha, why did you get rid of your sword to throw a flag? You know what? I take it back. That was brilliant.
Oh, when he got rid of his sword to
He
get a
throws
flag to then
and it
stab through the guy, and it made him explode.
Yeah.
What a wild ride this has been.
Yamcha, you just made a man explode by throwing a flag through him. Why are you afraid of Pilaf?
Because he's Yamcha.
Oh no, he's cast Molotov cocktail.
I love this. Like this, I don't know, just something about
Pyrotechnics in this movie are actually pretty decent.
yeah, something about the tactility of the fire. Is just it's great.
Seeing Pilaf be like a competent fighter is just weird for me.
It is. It's I mean, I understand why they felt like they should do it though. Cuz you're making a movie.
I mean, you had all these robot suits, why not just make a thing where he jumps in a robot?
Because you already had the robot and he was part of the mirror dimension.
Oh, right, my bad. You can't put a person in a mirror dimension robot. That's crazy.
Is there a dead body just behind that? Not.
You know what? I will say this though. This just makes me want to watch like a legit animated version of Pilaf versus Oolong.
Oh, that'd be fun. Oh man. The guy in this Oolong costume is getting worked.
He's the unsung hero of this movie. This guy had probably the hardest part to play.
And he's getting thrown around.
I mean, the choreography's still pretty good. That's at least been solid throughout the whole movie.
Right, yeah, that's, I mean, if things that are genuinely good is like, yes, the fight choreography is quite good, and the wire work is like genuinely good, and the pyrotechnics. There's a guy behind them up on the cliff, like the body of the guy with the flag through him is just sitting up there.
I appreciate that attention to detail, despite it being inconsistent throughout the rest of the movie.
Do you think that guy was like, "Can I just like go home?"
Wait, is
like,
that,
no.
that green? Is that green bit there? Is that the mirror monster?
Oh, is it the mirror robot?
And then there's like two more bodies off over here. I think one of them's Mai, and I think the other one's the flag guy.
There's just see again. We need
a lot going on here.
We need a pristine Blu-ray of this.
We need this in 4K tomorrow. Also, Goku, like, on the losing end of a fight against Pilaf is just interesting. Oh, he's turned it around.
With his pool noodle.
With this pool noodle. I think I've seen this scene before. I used to do this to my little brother all the time. Speed with the pool noodle.
And there's so much like there's so many like little weird moments, like when he missed Pilaf then and like looked like he fell down.
Well, then he just swings and hits him in the ass.
That you wonder if that's like almost like ad-libbing, like he genuinely missed.
That'd be great. Why? Why? He's on your side, Oolong. What is wrong with you?
Oolong pantsed Goku for no reason. And then, also for no reason,
showed up.
Turtle is here. And Pilaf is confused and scared, which...
I mean, I would be too if I was in the middle of a fight and Turtle just showed up out of nowhere. Especially this Turtle. And Turtle's now fighting?
Yes.
Pilaf, what is going on? I love how the head's like straight up, so he's not even looking at Pilaf.
It's like an old Gamera movie. Old Gamera movies were like that. The head on the suit just stuck straight up.
I need this to be how they win the fight. Turtle beats Pilaf's ass.
Oh, the way they win the fight is even better.
Wait, Oolong can do the Kamehameha?
That's how they won. Oolong does the Kamehameha. And wins the fight. And then we get the explanation for why Oolong asked for panties. He peed his pants. And so he's now been wearing Bulma's underwear and wants to get her new ones.
I mean, that's at least considerate. That's better than the original reasoning.
That he just wants to wear them on his head?
Yeah.
Do you like that last line? I think that's the last line of the movie.
There's no way.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
The last line of this movie, the last proper line of the movie is, the turtle does not have a dick, therefore it's a girl too.
It's a girl.
And then you smash cut to the entire cast assembled with Goku in the middle holding the script, all waving at the camera saying thank you all, and then there's a huge explosion in the background.
Honestly, this movie deserves an Oscar. This movie deserves an Oscar. I stand by that decision.
What are you giving this out of 7 Dragon Balls?
Oh my god, 9. I'm giving this 9 out of 7 Dragon Balls.
I do this thing I've done for a very long time with movies in general. When I think a movie is bad, but that makes it great, I give it negative stars.
Negative 9 out of 7. Then.
And the more negative stars you give something, closer to 5, the more perfectly bad it is, right? So like something like I mentioned that Dragon Lizard Lord Super Monsters a while back, the Godzilla fan film that's like literally the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Okay.
But it's also just pure, unfiltered insanity, is a negative 5 out of 5. It is perfectly, insanely bad.
Right on.
I think when it comes to Dragon Ball and this show, and specifically this movie, and God knows if we'll ever do anything quite like this again, although there's the sequel, Fighting Fighter.
I mean, to me, that seems like an obvious choice for the future.
I think we say Black Star Dragon Balls.
Okay. I like that. That's pretty good.
As the negative scale. So out of 7 Black Star balls.
Oh, 7 out of 7 Black Star balls.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This was an experience.
This is like an instant favorite bad movie for me.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me. This is really good.
I told you. I said this is before we started, I said this is one of humanity's greatest achievements.
Yeah, no, I think you nailed it. Nailed it in one.
I said before we started, I said, and I'm going to quote myself. I said, quote, I don't want to oversell it, but this movie might be the greatest thing humanity has ever created.
Not wrong. You're not wrong in the slightest. That was a good time.
It's an experience.
Oh yeah. That is how I would describe it.
I really hope everyone else watched along with us or has seen it before. And if you haven't,
take the time to go look for it, folks.
It
is a trip.
You should. And I don't even think us giving certain play-by-plays at moments spoils it either, because
it also doesn't do it justice.
It
really doesn't.
It defies explanation.
It really does.
This is a movie that refuses to be explained. What an odd chapter in Dragon Ball history, huh?
That is the oddest chapter
so far.
So far.
We're gonna be starting to compare everything against this. We're gonna be like in the middle of like, you know, the Cell arc, which is like some of my favorite Dragon Ball stuff, like Gohan going Super Saiyan 2, or like, yeah, but was it as good as...
It's not too long doing the Kamehameha.
In addition to the sequel to this, Fighting Fighter, there is also a movie, and I alluded to it, but I will not allude to it anymore. I'll just say what it is. It's called Dragon Ball: The Magic Begins.
Mm-hmm.
That movie is also like another like knockoff movie, but somehow, for some reason, and we're gonna have to, when we get into the movie and look into it. For some reason, that movie is like on Amazon Prime. It's on Tubi.
Huh.
Like, it's out there readily to be viewed, but it is another like knockoff. It's Taiwanese instead of Korean. We'll get to that relatively soon because this movie was 1990. That movie is like 1991. We've been doing like 2, maybe 3 commentaries a year. We're gonna like in like our next year or 2, we're gonna do like double that.
Hey, I'm all right with that. I like doing the commentaries.
It's especially
if it's this quality that we're gonna be watching. That'll be great.
Who knows? This is the new bar.
Yeah, that's right. I will be comparing every cinematic experience to this going forward. And I am confident in saying that everything will probably fall short. Well, that was something.
It sure was. And since this episode is running very long, we'll take our leave of you here, listeners.
Why do we waste time doing this when we're on our way to investigate something?
Because I needed to pad out the episode count.
Why?
Because of contractual obligations.
What?
Listen, don't worry about it. Let's just head back out to track down that power reading. Will we reach the power reading unscathed? What will await us there when we arrive? Find out next time and help us achieve our final forum.
I hope it's a sweet-ass car that's missing a bunch of parts.
With grill marks.
Final Form is written and produced by Tom Gwelly. It is performed by Dan Kinney and Tom Gwelly. Our webmaster is Dan Kinney. Our theme music is provided by YouTube content creator GVG Kid. Want to learn more about the Dragon Ball universe, including concept art, behind-the-scenes interviews, and recommendations from Jelli and Bekinney? Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Final Forum Pod. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you receive your podcasts. And of course, make sure to share it with your friends and family and help us spread the word of the glory of Lord Frieza. The Frieza Force thanks you for your listenership.